On a Saturday morning in a large northwestern city, Barb and her family are shopping for groceries. Barb and Pat have been married for 9 years and have 3 daughters. Today they're with Hannah, who is 9, and Lori, who is 6.
This isn't what you want, huh?
Pat is off work on weekends from his warehouse job, and Barb manages their household.
I know you like candy, but that's not what we're buying today. Okay, well, you guys get to pick 2 cereals, so you each get to pick one. Stop. Let them up.
As they come to the breakfast food section, the children's cereal there appeals not only to her daughters, but to a child within Barb, a 5-year-old personality named May.
What would you like?
I'm gonna get that one, but not if it's not the strawberry one I don't want.
You don't want a strawberry one?
No, I don't want one if it's not.
Oh, it's got to be strawberry, huh? Well, let's find out. Let's see what strawberry.
When Barb switches to the personality of May, her eyesight changes.
This one.
Barb's vision needs to be corrected by strong glasses, but May can barely see through them.
Oh, you don't want to wear Barb's glasses? Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, put them in the box. No, just 2 of them, girls.
Mom, for both of you, still pick 2 cereals.
No, it's just 2 cereals.
I like those ones, Hannah.
Barb's daughters are familiar with May, and Pat, who sees her often, treats her like the child she almost literally is. Her language and thoughts are those of a 5-year-old.
I was thinking if we might need some cookies.
I think we have some cookies. I think we have lots of cookies. We have some chips and stuff, too.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
We're ready to go now. Do you want to go get Barb now?
Well, everyone remind me something else, like something.
I think this is good for now, okay? We'll get you something else next time. Okay. Here you go. She didn't want to wear them.
When Pat and Barb were married, Barb had been in therapy for severe depression, but no one suspected that she had other personalities.
Well, we were in bed one night, and she woke me up because she wasn't sleeping. She was sitting in bed, and I sat up, and she asked me who I was. I said, I'm Pat, I'm your husband. And she said, I don't have a husband, I'm only 9 years old. What are you doing in my bed?
Barb knows almost nothing about her other personalities. Her mind protects her with amnesia from knowing things that would be traumatic or upsetting. Barb is now 34 and has virtually no memories before the birth of her children. What is your first memory?
First memory. Clear memory. Something that I really know is a memory. I guess it would be when Pat and I were driving in the car. We were on our way to a Lamaze class, which he usually slept through. And we were trying to come up for a name for the baby. And all of a sudden he said something about his grandma Hannah. And I said, that's the name. That's the name I want to name the baby.
How old were you?
23.
Barb developed multiple personality disorder because she needed to cope with the tremendous disparity between the life that her family expected her to reflect to the outside world and what was actually going on in that household.
Barb's therapist is Stephen Feldman, who is an acknowledged expert in the treatment of multiple personality disorder.
Her father was a prominent, successful dentist. He was a professor at the university. He had a flourishing private practice. Her mother was a professional, and for all intents and purposes, they were the model family.
But Barb's family was profoundly troubled. Notes from a psychiatrist who counseled Barb as a child suggest that her home life was chaotic, and that Barb's mother dealt with the family's problems mainly by denying they existed. Barb developed an ulcer, and when she was 13, had the first of several abortions performed during her teenage years.
It that belongs across my face,
I keep it very...
Barb's amnesia for her childhood enables her to live free from the burden of her past. But her abuse is not really forgotten. Those memories exist in the minds of her other personalities, personalities who lead different lives. When an alter personality takes control, Barb may disappear for days at a time. She finds herself far from home, occasionally in other states, and once in Canada. When this happens, Barb experiences a total loss of time.
You want some people on it?
I'm gonna do something funny.
No, I can do it.
Wait, I'm not done.
Barb's personalities are different ages. Her daughter's games cause Barb to switch to a child personality, who emerges because she is most suited for play.
What's on there?
Oh.
Switching often happens in response to changes in Barb's environment.
What's that? What's that?
Laurie's used to her mother's other personalities, but the switches are not so easy for her husband, Pat.
Make it have a foot shape on it.
Don't do that, May. It's not good to have that in your mouth.
Go away.
I'm going to go away.
Maybe okay. Purple toe.
It's hard because here I am still wanting to act toward her like her husband, you know, and I get pushed away, and, you know, that gets real confusing and real hard to do sometimes. You know, I gotta sit back and realize, well, this isn't my life. I can't do this. I can't just come up behind her and hug her, because there are some alters that don't want to be hugged, you know, don't want to be touched.
Oh my gosh, never mind. A-N-K-H.
Often, Pat must care for their 3 daughters and manage the house alone. The children have learned to accept their mother's absences, the times when Barb has switched to another personality.
You haven't touched your burger yet, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
Have you? Lori, what'd you do?
Some of Barb's personalities don't relate to the family. One of them is a teenage girl named DJ. DJ is different than Barb in her posture, voice, and language, and also smokes, a habit Barb dislikes. DJ also has different thoughts and feelings.
How do you feel about Barb's children, in terms of whether they're your children or not your children?
They're not. I mean, I care about them and stuff. But they're not my kids. They're Barb's.
DJ emerges when Barb needs to drive, because driving makes Barb nervous. DJ is emotionally stronger and has memories that Barb doesn't. Memories of abuse.
He was a dentist, right? And he'd drill on her teeth, drill on other parts of her body with his dentist drill. Beat the shit out of her, you know, kick her and shit like that.
When Barb couldn't run from her father, she escaped into her mind, leaving another personality to experience and contain the worst memories of torture.
Like burned up.
Burned.
Kitty.
That was your gray one.
The emotional pain that Barb experienced as a child is isolated in the personality of 7-year-old Audrey, who is locked in the past.
Now, close your eyes. Now, you know that I'm holding your hand right here in this room, right? And I wasn't there when you all were really little and Roger was there, was I? I wasn't there. So if I'm holding your hand, then you have to be here in my office with me, don't you? Okay.
Many of Barb's personalities are involved in therapy, but some are resistant and difficult to deal with.
I don't get a fucking thing to say.
The last time when you were breaking stuff, you said when you start hearing all those things going on inside, all that chaos going on inside, that it makes you do that stuff to try and quiet everything down.
I don't want to talk about nothing.
Why?
Because I don't.
Why?
As a small girl, Barb was physically unable to fend off the abuse. And because she knew that boys were stronger, Barb created male personalities who could fight. Devin is a teenage boy.
Why did you... is more her style of a tank top. Okay. Okay, is mine.
Barb created a personality which made it easier to tolerate her abuse. A personality with different feelings about her body.
And what's your name?
Carrie.
When Carrie is out, there can be serious problems. She feels no responsibility to the family and has caused difficulties for years.
Very different.
There's always been money missing. You know, and it's always a couple $100 at a time, or I had $600 disappear once. And, I mean, the only thing, it was obvious to me that she spent it, but at the time we didn't know she was a multiple, and she had no explanation. I mean, I had to believe her when she said she didn't know, because it was just too obvious from talking to her that she really didn't know what was going on. Apparently, the police have already called Barb and told her that they had gotten reports from like 17 different businesses on return checks and were concerned. I still don't know what's going on with that. I haven't talked to anyone myself about it. All right.
Unknown to Barb or anyone, Carrie has written $1,500 worth of bad checks, money the family doesn't have. Pat is trying to get a loan from his credit union to pay the debt.
You have a headache? I'm sorry. Been resting a while?
We got another thing from our credit place.
From a collection agency?
Yeah.
What check was it for?
I don't know, I didn't look.
I know you had an appointment today, didn't you?
Little muffin.
Hey, sweetie.
How are you?
Fine.
And there's another little muffin.
Hey, cutie. Where's my kisses? Where's my kisses?
How was school today?
Come on, you.
Good.
Math too? I have 3 girls that love math.
That evening, we checked back with the family. Pat got the loan and was able to make good on the bad checks. And in another room, Barb had switched to Carrie again, so we were able to talk with her about what had happened.
What happened to the money?
I spent it.
What did you spend the money on?
I bought clothes and perfume and jewelry, and I just had a good time, whatever I wanted. Ate wherever I wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
How would you feel if you were in my position?
I don't know. Tell me one more time what your position is.
I'm stuck here. I don't have a life. I feel used. I feel very used. I'm only allowed out when it's not something anyone else wants to handle. It's really not fair.
Other personalities' antagonism toward Barb take even more serious forms.
What we need to do is to get another x-ray and then put another splint on it, but one that'll help protect these fingers from moving through here. There's a little bit too much swelling.
In a fit of anger, Barb's male personality has punched a concrete wall and broken her hand in 4 places. And the violence against her can be even more appalling.
Okay.
I don't know how it happens. I just find burns on my face, and they'll large blisters, and it's so painful, you know. Burns really hurt.
Barb's mutilations by other personalities are acts of self-hatred and self-punishment for being abused. Once, after a drug overdose, Barb's car was set on fire from the inside. Later, Barb found herself in intensive care, breathing on a respirator. She had barely escaped with her life. We were with Barb and her family when a dangerous time had come again. All her personalities were threatening to kill her, so Barb decided to seek protection in a psychiatric hospital.
You just move over. You can sit down. You can sit here.
I think if I didn't have children, it wouldn't be so bad. But for their sake, I mean, I don't know how they would deal with it if anything else happened. I don't know how they've made it as far as they have and come through as well as they have.